Alright, welcome back to the Crabby Dice and welcome to 2021, finally! And we're going to be taking a look at the first huge campaign that's come out this year, and that's called Darwin's Journey, a Euro game from Thundergriff Games. Before we start, if you've not watched one of my videos before, this is 100% my subjective take on a crowdfunding campaign. Things that I like in the gameplay, things I don't like, the value, what's in the box, if it's worth it. We'll see if I'm going to back it at the end. And you know what? I'm here to help you, and if I did, why not subscribe to my channel? Alright, so let's come back to the game. So this one's doing really well, like I mentioned, 675k for a Euro game, over 8,000 backers, excellent. That's just after a week, still 2 weeks to go. With a late campaign surge, it'll probably make $1 million, $1.2 million. That's really good considering last year's highest funding Euro game probably made around that much money. So it's funny that the first big Euro game this year is going to match the highest funding Euro game from last year. So that's really, really good, and congratulations to Thundergriff Games for that. And you know what, there's a handful of reasons a lot of people want to back this game. All right, the first being the publisher that's attached, and that's Thundergriff Games. And you know, if a company's made over 4 or 5 games, I love looking at the past history to see if there's a trend in the games that they've produced. And you know what, there's definitely a trend with Thundergriff Games, especially if you look at their last 5 projects. We're not going to look early on in their catalog here, it's just smaller type of games, but the last 5 games, really the trend is just high value for what's in the box and really high production value through the roof. They might be producing some of the nicest games on Kickstarter, most notably Spirits of the Forest, Tang Garden, which is overproduced, and Iwari, again, excellent production. Even if you don't really like the games, like for me, Tang Garden, I really didn't even like the game. I'd rather play any other Tyler, but the production value was just through the roof. Spirits of the Forest, again, the production is ridiculous, and Iwari is, again, the art, oh my god, beautiful game. So that's what Thundergriff is going to deliver: great value and great production value. All right, another reason why I think it's funding really well is, you know, this is a side thing, but I think, you know, it's been a while since Kickstarter's had a big project, and I think people are just chomping at the bit to back something. So some of these people might be backing this, but I hope that most people are backing this game because of the designer of the game. All right, so Simone Luciani, I'm gonna probably make a top 5, top 10 designer series later this month or something. He is gonna be in my top 2 or 3 designers. He is amazing. He's one of the best Eurogame designers that are making games today. He's so underrated. He's got no duds in his catalog. He's probably one of maybe 2 or 3 designers that have like 5 or 6 different games in the top 200 on BGG, which is just incredible. I mean, you can just look at his catalog: Voyages of Marco Polo, Zolkin, Grand Austria Hotel, Lorenzo Magnifico, Marco Polo 2, Newton, probably one of my favorite games from 2 years ago, or in my top 5. Barrage, probably my favorite game from last year. Just awesome games, no duds in his catalog. And this is the same duo that made Newton. So this is Simone Luciani and Nestor Mangione. And that's something Luciani likes to do. He likes to cooperate with other designers to make awesome games. And he really, you know, does good work. I don't know how else to say it. All right, so let's take a look at this campaign. I think the first thing we're going to talk about is the value, because that's what we're going to get at the start of the page. All right, where do we even start with the value? I think first we're going to talk about the pledge levels. There's only 2, so it's going to be really quick. All right, there's the 55 USD version, which is just the base game, and then there's the $85 collector's edition. All right, so no stranger to anyone who watches my channel. Don't ever get the base game of a Euro game in Kickstarter. Never worth the price. Just get it in retail later on. You'll have the advantage of either paying less, because with the shipping you're going to pay more here, and you'll get to see what reviewers think of the game and see if it's a game really for you. All right, so we're gonna just focus in on the collector's edition, and if you should get the collector's edition. All right, so what are you gonna get for $85? All right, let's say $100 with shipping. All right, so it's $85, $14 shipping, or $15 shipping, which is a flat 100 USD for the game, and you're gonna get quite a bit for $100. All right, this is probably one of the better valued collector's edition for a Euro game that you can get. All right, especially with the production value from Thundergriff Games. I'm not gonna lie, it's just really good. So first you're gonna get a board. It's a really nice looking board. This game is similar to things like Gugong and Trajan, where there's multiple actions you can do in the game, but each sort of action works in a different part of the board, and this is just a much nicer board than those type of games. All right, so you get a really nice board, you get a ton of wooden tokens, cardboard, cards, so on and so on, just regular stuff that you'd get in a regular $50 to $60 Euro game. That's why I'm saying if you're just going to get the regular game, just wait for it in retail. All right, what are you going to get for the collector's edition? So this is going to be $30 more. Let's do the math here. 55 to 86, yeah, $30 more. What are you gonna get for 30 bucks? All right, so you're gonna get quite a bit for 30 bucks. That's why I'm really impressed, and I think the value is really high. All right, so for 30 bucks, first thing you're gonna get is everything in the base game. So obviously you're gonna get 40 metal coins, so just this is like a $20 value. You're gonna get 68 soft plastic wax seals to replace the cardboard chits from the base game, so that's like another $10-15 value. And you're gonna get in a free expansion thrown in, all right, and that's just like a $20-30 value. All right, not only that, you're also going to get all the stretch goals, and pretty much every single wooden bit that's in the game has been upgraded. All right, so let's look at the expansion first. You're going to get a new board, I believe, or a new layout, more wooden bits, more variety in the game, more cards. You're going to get these awesome wooden heat transferred foil finish tokens. I can't wait to see these in person. They look really good, and so on and so on. Just a lot more stuff, variety that you can throw into the base game. All right, now let's go through the stretch goals, and just to show you that they've pretty much tapped out on anything else that they can upgrade in the base game. Pretty much everything, even like the first player tokens got upgraded. The book track token got upgraded. You get more cards, just a ton of cards. You get a new bag here for just the money. Again, more cards, more different tokens for the ships. You get stained metal coins. And here you're going to see the last component upgrade that they've unlocked is the time tokens from the expansion. All right, and just to show you that they've pretty much blinged out anything that they could bling out, there's a note here that says this is probably the last component upgrade for the campaign. So anything they would have thought of before the campaign started, they're tapped out and they've upgraded. Maybe if they hit $1 million, they'll have something else, but that's what we're talking about. They might upgrade more cards and stuff like that, but for components, they're pretty much tapped out, and that's the high quality blinged out version of this game you're gonna get. All right, so that's really worth $100 with shipping. I think it's worth the money. Now, if we're gonna look at the add-ons here, sleeves, forget sleeves, never get sleeves. Just get on the web store. Always going to be much cheaper. This is going to be €4 for 100. You get 100 sleeves for like $2 on any random web store. All right, the other thing that I want to mention are these realistic wooden player lens. These look awesome. Wooden tokens with a real lens in it, but they're really expensive. You're almost paying $1 per lens. All right, and that's just, in my opinion, way too expensive. I wouldn't spend the money for it, but you know what, if you really want to bling out your game, might as well get it. It'll probably add a bit of value. And lastly, there's this mini expansion here. €5 is going to be about $7 USD. Really expensive for an add-on, but it's the going rate of all these Euro games or any game that comes out on Kickstarter now. There's always a $5 add-on just because they make so much profit off that $5. It's just to add more profit for the company at the end. If you want to get it, go ahead. If not, whatever, it's only $5. All right, so that's the value. I think it's really worth it for what's in the box. If you compare it to most Euro games that came out last year, even the year before that, it's on the higher echelon of the value what you're going to get in the box. If you compare it to Gugong or games like that, you are getting much more stuff in this box than all those other games for around the same price. Now, if we're going to talk about long-term value, quick. Hopefully I'm not lagging on the screen. The problem with Euro games is they only ever hold their value if the game is great and if it's a sought-after game. All right, Sorry about that, I lost a bit of my video feed, but now let's talk about the gameplay. All right, so for gameplay, let's focus in on this picture. It's pretty much the only gameplay picture on the whole page, so shame on Thundergriff Games. Have a better playthrough section on your page. But more importantly, shame on you because they didn't post a rulebook. Oh my goodness, I hate when Kickstarter publishers don't put a rulebook. I want to read the rules. I want to see how the end game state is going to be, how the game scores and all that stuff. You don't get any sense of this watching people's previews and playthroughs. All right, there's pretty much only one playthrough you can watch. I've watched it, so I had to make a bit of guesses here when we're talking about gameplay. So let's interweave some good and bad points about the game. So overall, first, it is a worker placement game, and I tend to like worker placement game, even though it's more of a generic style worker placement game where you're not using dice or anything like that. You're really just using a worker on the spot. But what makes this one unique compared to other worker placement games is that you're actually upgrading your worker. All right, so there's this whole academy seals type of thing where you send your worker to get seals, and you're assigning seals to your workers, and each worker placement spot has a seal requirement. All right, so you can just imagine that a worker placement spot needs 2 red and a blue to use. So you need to have a worker with 2 red and a blue seal attached to him to do that sort of action. All right, so as you're going to be unlocking more and more actions throughout the game, they're going to be getting more and more powerful, but the requirements are going to be getting higher and higher. So you have to sort of keep up with the Joneses and be getting those seals to upgrade your character. So that's a great mechanism that I haven't seen before. Now, some bad things, there's a bit of a lack of tension in the game. There's only like 2 or 3 different spots on the board that you can actually block. So if you like worker placement games that you can block out other players, this game's not for you. The game's pretty much always wide open. You just have to pay like a penalty in money to the bank to do any worker placement spot that somebody else is there, and it's pretty much dependent on if you're in the same area or you're in the same book, depending on the player count, so on and so on. All right, so let me talk about the biggest negative I have about the game before we get to some good stuff. And my biggest beef with the game is the fact that I don't think it's thematic at all. I watched a lot of the other previews, and they're saying how they love the game because it's thematic and all this stuff. I can list like a dozen points on why this game is unthematic. I don't know what game they're watching or trying to play here. There's no theme in this game. First, there's so many things to talk about. First, there's no sense of exploration. I mean, Darwin's journey is all about exploring. I mean, go look at the dictionary. Exploration is all about discovering the unknown. In this game, whatever you see at the start of the game, you're not discovering anything. I mean, all the tokens are going to be flipped face up. There's nothing unknown about the game. The state of the game is pretty much going to be the state of the game from the beginning to the end. All right, besides some seals that you're uncovering and new objectives that you're getting, everything else is known. So there's really no sense of exploration at all. Other things, there's this whole correspondent postage system where there's this whole majority thing that's going to unlock extra boat movement or stuff. Not thematic. There's the whole money is to use the same action as somebody else, something that I sort of hate about Euro games. They use money as a catch-all. Why am I paying the bank $2 to $4 to do an action that somebody else is already on? Really unthematic, doesn't make any sense, especially in this game. Are we all playing Darwin or scientists doing the same journey? I don't know. I'm having a hard time trying to figuring out where the theme that other previewers are finding in this game. I don't see it. All right. That being said, everything else in the game looks really good. All right. One of the best things I can say about the game is that it's light on the rule set but heavy in the decision space, and that's always a mark of a good game or a Euro game, in my opinion. I don't really like games with heavy rule set, like a lot of Vital Lacerda games. I just can't sit through an hour, 2 hours of listening to rules to play a game that's going to last twice as long. Those games are not for me. I really like light on the rule set but heavy on the decision space, and this game looks like it has that. It has something that I also really like, something like Trajan, Gugong, and Newton, where it's micro actions that you're going to be doing. So there's like 5 or 6 different spaces or areas in the game board, and they all have different types of actions and mechanisms, and you're going to be doing the actions in one of those areas. So it's easy to understand, easy to play. The iconography is great, so easy to follow as well. There's a lot of variety in the game as well. Great thing is that even though during the game nothing really changes, like I said before, everything's set up, but to start the game, a ton of variety. The action spaces are going to be different, your objectives are going to be different, your crew cards are going to be different. All great stuff. Recipe fulfillment, one of my favorite mechanisms in games, is like one of the hallmarks of this game. You're going to be doing a lot of recipe fulfillment on your objectives, getting those objectives, unlocking more objectives. I think you can unlock up to 12 different objectives in the game, so that's a lot of recipes you're going to be fulfilling. So you need to get certain things accomplished to get a bonus. You also have a hand of crew cards, and that's more recipe fulfillment. So if your workers have a certain amount of seals, you're going to be unlocking more powerful abilities, and this all leads to what I really love about the game, which is the whole combo system that you can create in the game. All right, so it does have that whole fast flowing game, like a lot of worker placement game. We're going to be doing fast action, do an action, move your boat. All right, that's going to happen. All right, so you're going to have some fast turns, but you're also going to have these amazing turns where you're going to be doing an action, move your boat or your explorer, which gets you a bonus, but then that bonus makes you complete your objective or your crew card, which then unlocks another bonus, so you do another movement action which unlocks something else. So you can really chain these amazing turns together, so you can work towards these amazing turns, but also have those smaller type turns mixed in to make the game flow really well. So the game seems like it has a great flow to it, and that's a really good thing. All right, and that's pretty much what I have to say. So a lot of good things. Just on the bad stuff is really just the theme. I mean, if I had to say a bit more stuff about bad, because it's not all good. The evolution track, I really don't like that at all. I like games with tracks on tracks on tracks, but if it's just a track to score points, that's dumb. It feels like a wasted action or a null turn. I don't really like that. I don't love the exhibition mechanism. So they have this whole exhibition thing where you're sending in your specimens to get more tracks or money. I don't like that mechanism. It's unthematic as well, because somebody else, as long as something's in the museum, you can steal that specimen. There's an action to do it. It's kind of weird. Unthematic, again, another point why it's unthematic, so on and so on. But let me cut this short. I've been talking for quite a while here. Overall, I still think it's going to be a great game, especially from Simone Luciani. He hasn't steered me wrong yet. So am I going to back it? For $100, seems worth it. I'm probably gonna back. I don't know. I'm probably gonna wait till the last second. And there you go. So there's my analysis. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.